Hope it was PowerRider here with Hypocritical Saber opening Volume 9. So, when was Volume Legend? That was a while ago. I'm going to at least say May. So I've had at least like a 3-month gap. So this series obviously used to be monthly, but then because, you know, the newer Saber stuff became harder to get, it was just kind of like, yeah, this is fun. No, the last one was Real Time, Volume 7. Real Time was Volume 7. Yeah. So, like, obviously, like, so, yeah, Volume 6. I don't think there was a Volume 6. That was 5.52. So that got released. And then Volume Legend, which is Volume... We're on Volume 8. So Volume Legend was Volume 7. Volume Real Time was Volume 6. Now we're on Volume 8. That's why I got so confused. Like, how are we at 9? But, obviously, we're just gonna cover a lot of small stuff, essentially. And I did not prepare. Oh, well. So, initially, this was just 7 Wonder Ride books, because it was Happy Brave Dragon, Osha Jizo-san, Decade Sekai Roki Neo, I forgot, Decade Sekai Rokoki Neo, and then, the Wonder World story of the Naken Norishi, and then Happy Lion Senki. But then in May, I believe, I got myself Fies, which is just sitting in here, and Agito I already put together for the sake of its review, so yeah, like, I did get Agito sealed. It's technically Fies I got sealed too. He was just already opened and such. And then our new stuff that technically, essentially what made me made me decide that I can actually do Volume 8 was that I got obviously the Cross Saber, the Wonder World story of the Raimei Kenny Kazuji, Wonder World story of the Kogokan Gekido, the Wonder World story of the Kogokan Psycho, and the Wonder World story of the Fusoken Hayate. So I ended up getting, I got the rest of the Candy Toy Wonder World stories because, well, technically, Gekido is the only exclusive out of Candy Toy. These 3 came out in Gashapon also, but obviously, you, as I'm gonna talk about, you don't want Gashapon. You want to have the fullest of the bodies and such. So we're gonna cover all of these first before we get to the big thing, the Cross Saber. Obviously, I canceled my order on Hoju Senki, sadly. So I'm gonna decide that that's gonna get Hoju Senki, and whatever I get at that point will get put at the end of this, just similar to Volume 3. I was initially gonna like do it at the beginning of this video, but it's kind of like there's no point because that's just not, continuity wise, it's not gonna make sense. So we're actually going to, we're gonna deal with obviously the Candy Toy Gashapon ones first. Well, mostly we're going to deal with Gashapon first. Again, we already got Agito resolved. Just because, you know, these ones are newer and such. Because Gashapon we never really covered, and I've been wanting to do this one for a while. So Gashapon's sure interesting. So first of all, so this came in Gashapon 4. Yeah, which came with the Sarutobi Ninja Den and the Kotoba-san Kyodai Wonder books. And then the stickers. So the Faiz Shinka Jinryushi, which is pretty neat. Here's the weapon, the Faiz edge. And then here's Faiz's page. And if you might, so I think from what I was told, my niece like opened it, or like she like it was already open, but she like literally attempted to peel this, which that I'm not happy about. But I don't know. Because like, basically it's because like on the day I got these Sentai gears, or Sentai Gear 4, Gashapon Sentai Gear Set 4, I gave my niece, you know, those, like, the capsules, just so then she can open them. But then she, like, I don't know, like, they're, like, the easiest thing, and she was struggling with it so hard, so I just gave up. I just took them back, and then, like, she got upset that, like, you know, that they were gone and such, but it's, like, she didn't even want them. So, yeah. So, I find this weird. So, like, obviously it comes with 2 extra pieces, to which all you do is just simply clip them, like so. And then you flip this front piece like so. You put the 2 halves together. Nope, that was not how you're supposed to do it. Yeah, okay, I messed up. You're supposed to clip this in. And then you... Yeah, see, this is... Like, obviously you can easily... Nope. You cannot easily fix it. Gosh darn it. Okay, so I messed up heavily. Because you're supposed to... Okay, yeah, this is not good. I messed up heavily. Gosh, see, this is why you're supposed to put this piece in first, and then put the 2 halves together, so then you can have something like this. But now, because I forcefully took this out, I put this out of shape. So now these 2 things are not gonna look too well together. But yeah, so yeah, that's not good. Yeah, so that's bad. This is where the sticker comes in, essentially. So this is where the stickers come in. So you're just gonna essentially cover up your mistakes. And just simply... Obviously you apply this the same like so. I just forgot how you apply stickers. I forgot how you apply these. Yay, it's off. Okay. So it's too high. It's too high. That's the issue. It's too up. I don't even know what happened here. This is not good. So this one's interesting. Or Gashpon's interesting because the cover is a lot flatter because of how it's done. It's not like a candy toy. So it's technically a lot easier because you don't have like, well, I don't know, I would say easier, but you don't have like a guard or you don't have like an edge to like fall that you can like safely like rely on. Yeah, this is the worst part about Gashpon is just like the split, because you can tell my split from Flies to Agito is a bit bigger, and it's because I messed up. So the inside's not bad, the cover is horrible, but yeah, so that's how a Gashpon a Gashapon Wonder Ride book together, because it's just the same thing. Just you need to put it together. Oh gosh, this capsule is never stable. So yeah, Agito, I think I messed up. I messed up with this sticker. Here I messed up with the cover, so that's worse. So here we go for, so I think I finally finished the Densetsu no Shinju Legend Rider books. I still need to get Blade and Kabuto, but my Wonderworld story of the Fusoken Hayate came sealed, or it came prepared already, which is, you know, so then you don't have to stress about it, and also flat stickers. I'm pretty sure this, because I'm like, oh, it would have been pretty bad if I put him like that. But I think what came within this set too was the Wonderworld story, the Unkokugen Kuriyami. I don't understand why that one's difficult on getting, because I'm like, I'm confused, honestly, because I'm like, wait, aren't these just... These came in the same sets. Shouldn't it be easy to get this? Like, why would one be a lot more easier to get than the other? Because I found it weird that I couldn't find listings of Kuriyami. Hayate, yeah, you can't. Like, Hayate's everywhere. Kuriyami, like, people really wanted that one for some reason. And, like, I really do like the concept of these books. They're pretty neat. Which is why I actually was like, yeah, sure, I'll actually go all in on these ones. Yeah, I think this one's actually went pretty well. And this is technically the first world story book I put together. So that's pretty neat. So, yeah. Like, essentially the way I view these is like, you know, just essentially like, I think these are technically supposed to be like in place of like the Legend Rider books because of how, you know, they stand out on their own. And for Saber, like, especially for Kaigen Rekka, that one, like, the story page is literally just like a Legend Rider book. So yeah, we got so we got these 3 books now. So let's put the Gashpons to the side. Start with a Kazuchi. So this came in Shogun 6 with a Happy Genbu Shinwa, which I'm not getting all the happy books. I just, because, you know, I already got Happy Brave Dragon and Lion Senki. I will pick up a Happy Hansel Nuts to Gretel, because I do want to pick up all Slosh's books. So I'm curious. Oh, I'm curious. So let me... Hopefully I do have a trash. I got myself a trash bag because of the buy stuff. Let me compare the shades of... This is a bit darker, interestingly. Obviously, it has a different inner... different story page. Yeah, it's the same gold as the Legend Riders. That's actually interesting. So there it is. The cover story, or the cover page. Espada himself with the lamp. He doesn't even have his cape. That's interesting. And here is the Jin, just being mischievous, as he always is. It reminds me of the genie from Arabian Night. Arabian Night? Yeah. I don't know, the DVD cover always kind of frightened me. So I gotta do this 3 more times. And I feel like the stickers here, like, they have some thickness to them, which I appreciate. I don't understand why, like, so for the last Gashpon set, I don't know why that existed. The last Gashpon set was so pointless, because it was just this, and then this second, the second Santaro book. I don't get it. See, like, I'll talk about it later. But, like, this, what, GP, like, Gashpon 16 was so pointless. I'm like, you guys really wasted a slot. And what, those 2 books got metallics? This wasn't great, but... so, here we go with our first candy toy one. So cool. See, I always get confused that Genbu was also within this set, but it's not, because obviously I keep confusing it with Happy. So this one is interesting because I got this one opened already, like completely opened and sealed. Like, it's still sealed, but like the box is like flattened and such, and no candy. So that's essentially, it's gonna not make that want to sit. But again, so these are going to be my only things of Buster and Kenzan. As I said before, I don't want to pick up their Seikens. Zriken does, so. Okay. Genbu, or Gekido. I really like this color. Like, so again, here's that. tortoise. Like, honestly, it just... So basically, it's just because of, like, cost reasons that I'm just, like, content with having the Susanoo. And also just because the Susanoo is my personal favorite. Like, yes, like, the Gekito's big, and the Hayate can be 2 swords. Like, honestly, I'd rather just have 2 separate modes. I'd rather have more functionality than just, like, essentially a one-noted gimmick. Cause I don't know, like, the Gekito's gimmick of just simply being big, I'm just like, that's not really anything. This one did not. This one's not doing well. It got stuck somewhere. Gotta be really careful here, because I'm afraid it's gonna split. But I don't know. See, this is what I don't get. It's like, I don't get what happens here where it gets trapped on the side. No. Yeah, this one's like completely just lopsided. I do like how full this page looks though. That's why I think it's really unfortunate that most of these got sidelined to just being Gaspon Candy Toy. Because I feel like some of these books would have really benefited just being a full line of DX books. Here we go. Kogokan Gekido. So this one, as I said, is just not gonna stay together. Cause to explain, I got Gekido separately from Ikazuchi, cause I got Ikazuchi and Psycho as a set. While Gekido I had to get separately. Obviously, Psycho is, I will say, a sought out one just because of the fact this is the only canon one within the show. Or the only one within the show that actually did something, because obviously this is the book that, or this transformed into X-Swordman, which I find to be confusing, but I really do like how they managed to get this to be different from Gekido. Like, I really do. I think that's probably why they threw them within the same set. Because I understand, like, I think, because obviously, like, Psycho is supposed to be more of, like, silver. Like, from this point, he's supposed to be more of, like, a silver. Buster is more of a gray. So, speaking of Psycho, it's just, again, the Kogokan Psycho. This one I find interesting because it's Psycho's shadow holding a gigantic Psycho. And then here's the old majestic guy who's like, what weapon will you choose? And like, the thing that bothers me, I think this is because of X-Swordman, but as you can see, this is slotted as a divine beast, even though it clearly should be a story. I forget what they're called. A story. I can't say fairy tale. See, I forgot like the logic or like the terminology Saber uses. I only know Divine Beast, but I don't know like animal or like story book. I guess we're just gonna stick with this. It's stuck to something. I don't know, I'm worried about Sabella now, but like, especially because this one's formatted just like a story one, because it has the character from the story. All of these do. I mean, like, okay, this one's off, maybe? I don't know, I felt this one, like, being crooked. So there, here we go with the Kogokan Psycho. I did not bring it out just because I forgot, honestly, but, I was just like, yeah, I can just do it within the video itself. Like, I know, like, typically this is where I'll do those kind of stuff, but then it's just like, you know, with my, you know, current situation, like, just of stuff, and essentially, you know, just trying to quickly put these out. It's just kind of like, you know, I'm just like, I can leave this out. Last but not least, the one that essentially has been sitting forever, Naroshi, and essentially the only retail thing of Sabella, because they were just like, hey guys, we actually decided to make a book for her. And I feel like it was mostly just because they needed another book of these ones that were actually a middle slot. Because obviously, for the majority of the series, Blades was the only animal writer throughout the series, but then they were like, oh yeah, we can do more. So then Sabella and Durandal were brought in. And obviously, we still don't have a Durandal. See, I don't know, like, I stick with Durandal, but I think it's supposed to be Durandal. That was horrible. Maybe if I actually showed you. But, I think it, like, this is what I was talking about earlier, how, like, Gashapon 16 was just wasted opportunity. And this is why I just kind of preferred if they didn't rush these out so quickly. Because it's like, what was the rush, essentially? And I think Saber could have actually benefited from going to 18 waves within Gashapon. Because Saber, as of now, is the second longest series. However, like I said, it burned through them. It burnt through its entries. Because for the most part, it did 2 per month. Which was like, why are you doing 2 sets per month? I understand it's because they wanted to get the Legend Riders out of the way, but it's like, what the heck? See, this is always the case. If I do well on the cover and then the first page, I always do horrible on this for somehow. So this is like essentially the Agito situation where most of it's just stuck here. But here's the Naroshi. And cool. So we got those out of the way. So there we got those. So I'm just gonna put their boxes to the side because obviously we don't need them present. Gekido, gosh. Nope. Gekido, I feel like it's gonna fall. Hayate, and then these guys. So then we're gonna just simply, you know, dig into here because I already filmed the introductions of these when I got them, so I literally just have them sitting around. So Osha, Jusudan, Zan, and then no Parka. Like, honestly, the only reason why I really got this one is because the Parka Ghost. But however, it's not present on here. All these guys. Actually, yeah, this is the Parka Ghost. It's just not colored. I don't think any of these are colored, but okay. Oh, this one giving me memories I don't. The fact that, like, the only thing I get out of this is, oh gosh, the horrors of Geo versus Decade. Because this was essentially supposed to commemorate that. Like, blatantly. Man. This is just... I don't know why they couldn't make this a DX book. So there's complete form. I don't know why it's complete form, but... okay. I don't have the Decade book. That one is still within the other boxes, or the other books. I only brought out the books I felt were necessary. And Happy Brave Dragon. This one I'm gonna have to actually... Here's... oops. So again, this one's interesting for its packaging, just because it's... oh shoot. It's only one of the first just simply be plastic. Yes, it was wrapped in bubble wrap, but, like, you know, it's just solely plastic. So Happy Brave Dragon. Oh wow, that is sparkly. I do find it weird, this one. I understand why, like, obviously because they're packing it with the cake, but, like, I still find it weird that this one is not DX. Instead, they chose to do Happy Lion Sinky. So, how do you open this one? Like, it's... I don't know, this one's a weird one to make DX. Like, I understand it's because Saber already had the Wonderworld story of Kaiken Rekka, and then the Lucky, the Choco one. But, like, I don't know, this is still a weird, like... why this one? And that's it. It doesn't even tell you about doing everyone else. It's just... here you go with this. And then this is literally packed the same as Joker, so that's great. Yeah, this one, like, okay, so this one's at least better than Joker. Joker was like a... I don't know what Joker was. But, you know, this one I can easily just put back in and just forget about. So, whoop-de-doo. This one I forgot to supply the cell batteries for because, again, I wasn't really thinking. I only supplied batteries for the Cross Saber. So, are they gonna do with Revice? This for this. Oh man, the horror. So here we are with Happy Lion Senki. Oh gosh, another loose cover. I hate that. And then I guess my yeah, okay. So here we go with that. Let me just put these things off to the side again. Okay. So let me see, the thing is I brought in the original Rekka and now I don't even have anything to stab this with. So okay, this is going to be extremely dangerous, but so I brought in the original Rekka, this because it's the Sound of the edition, so I'm like, I might as well just proceed with that because it's like, I went through the effort of getting the original one, I might as well use it. I was like, where did those batteries come from? But those were the original ones. Or those are the ones for the Cross Saber. Okay, I was getting confused. I think I might have switched the... Yeah, I switched the battery covers. Whoops. Because the Sound Update edition has its serial number. I should not be facing it with the chromes. So, okay, like, Sound of the Edition has its own serial number. This one, I think, just because it is its own different product. But then it seems like the serial numbers on, yeah, they're all the same. So essentially, they were just, because the Sound Edition is its own product, I guess they were just like, it needs its own serial number. So, before we get to that, again, there are a bunch of things I need to move batteries for. Please don't cut me. So I'm just gonna have to steal batteries. This should be fine. Oh shoot. Because I assume this is just going to start playing right away. So it's neat that the instrumentals are essentially just from Happy. Cool. So we're gonna deal with essentially how I got things first, so we'll just do, also we'll do the Legend Riders first. Obviously we're not gonna go through it all. Force! So, like, obviously you can tell the huge difference between Gashpon and Candy Toy, because obviously the covers are a lot thicker, or thinner, and the shades are kind of darker in person. I don't know. You can tell, like, there's a huge difference, because obviously this would technically be what the story page is, but then for some reason for the Gashpon, they just made it the story page, or they just literally made it the cover and stuck the story page. Like, the story page is now the transformation page. So technically, if you wanted to make a Gashpon Candy Toy version of a Wonder Ride book without wanting to, like, make your own out of a DX book, technically you just need to get you need to get the same Wonder Ride book in 2 different versions. So, like, essentially, like, let's say you wanted to make a white Wonder Ride book and use Forza as the base, and, like, I don't know, Lambda Adagina for the inside. Whoops. I don't know why I jumped. So you can use it. So I don't know, for, like, if for something you want to do, like for filming, I don't know. So, like, let's just say, like, you can use Gashapon for, like, to, you know, make your own, like, story page, because all you have to do essentially is just you have to make this into a sticker somehow, and maybe cut these out, or I don't know, like, just in some way, just, well, yeah, see, the thing is that you can't really follow this template because it's just wrong. Because it's essentially ignoring the thickness. It's ignoring this, but the thinness of this is essentially this. So so you have to make this into a sticker somehow, plaster it here, and then put your story page right here and such. And then for the next cut, you can, you know, like, Candy Toy is, like, a good way of just, you know, having the cover page, but then also just the inner cover, or the transformation pages as a whole. So I don't know, if, like, essentially if you don't want to mess with a DX Wonder Ride book, just get a Gashpon and Candy Toy one. It's like, I know it's very complicated. It's like, why do I need 2 props just to be able to do the story page and then the transformation page? I don't know. Let's resolve old story. And let's resolve old story. So I think this is how I wanted to do it. Focusing is really bad. I apologize. Fun. So there, we finally finished Old Story Writer, which is, again, probably one of my favorite jingles. And, you know, we get hysterical. We just get the most hysterical books out of here. Obviously, like, initially I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get 1 DX, 1 Candy Toy, 1 Gashapon. But I'm like, no, don't get Gashapon. Don't. And I should probably put these ones to the side too. Let's, you know, we can do this one. I apologize for if you can literally see that. Obviously, what the sword is actually doing is just constantly flickering red. Last but not least, woohoo! We got Happy featuring Saber. Like I actually really do like this trio, though. If I be honest, it's fun. Now our first look into world story. Focus. World Story has to probably be my second favorite. Obviously, we'll do this shake up. Focus. I really do like this one's orange. I just apologize that, again, it's constantly flashing red. And I really do like how this flows. The thing, like, so, it's gonna trigger. Like, the thing that I find weird is just essentially the storybooks. They make it so they're looking the other way, which I don't know why. And that's the same with Kenzan too, I believe. Yeah. So that's technically why, like, you know, this is the only one that doesn't do that, obviously, because it's supposed to be here, but, like, correctly it goes here. But yeah, now I have to do with the Rekka itself. Obviously, we'll set everything aside and get ready for the cross saber. Okay, so now we will get to the cross saber itself, which yeah, I'm not really happy how much I got it for, but I'm like, I at least, like, I was gonna at least be like, as long as I can get it for, I got it for essentially $10 less than the Sound Update edition, but it's just kind of like, you know, because I got the sword driver itself for $40, so I was just like really hoping I can get this for like around that price too, or like cheaper essentially, but I failed nevertheless. Man, this is something. So obviously they stopped supplying instructions. Oh wow, this is interesting. Wow. Yeah, okay, so there's no way of this updating just because of how this works. This is a really thin sword, but... Oh wow, this really is a button. Oh, you can't press it here. You only press it when it clicks here, because then it doesn't allow you access. Man. Obviously, this is the place where the emblems will go to. You know, it's interesting they decided to go with plastic. Oh, shoot. Like, I really do, like, Cross Saber, obviously just, like, I wasn't bothered by Cross Saber. I was just more intrigued that, like, oh, they're really going this direction. Because I know, obviously, a bunch of people were upset that it was just a repaint. But I'm like, you know, with Ray trying to be more simpler, I'm honestly okay with it. How does this compare? Yeah, that's significantly longer. Oh gosh. I personally do like the fact that the cross saber sticks out. I just like that. Yeah, like you can tell it doesn't feel as like, it doesn't get as stuck, I guess. But man. So this just goes in the same way. Again, I actually prepared the batteries for these. Like, I just find it funny, like essentially the time that like we knew about Cross Saber and the time that was getting announced and such officially. It's just like, huh, like because like I think we did know it was going to be like I think we did know it was going to be its own thing because it's like because of the price. But like, you know, we just didn't really know what exactly Crosshair was gonna be, but I really do like this gimmick of how, like, it's not showing up well, but of where essentially it'll have the emblems for each Seiken that isn't Kiromu. Because Kiromu, like, there is an explanation as to why Kiromu isn't exactly involved, but it does kind of suck. Because I understand I think they wanted an even number, so. Man, the LEDs are kind of weak. Where's the button here? Wow, okay, so it's hidden there. Oh, wait. That's interesting. Oh, wait, okay, I did not know. Okay, so that's interesting. So this entire mechanism... Oh. Is it because of how this works, or what? Because I'm like, it's interesting how the button here, you move it throughout. So that's interesting. Because obviously you can't. That's interesting. Obviously you only get a singular slash sound, and then here you get technically, like, here you get the phrases, because this is technically the main way of doing them. Obviously it works the same way as the sound update edition, and the Kiromu, where you just simply press the trigger. Nothing. Obviously, most of the phrases are from version 1 of the Kaiken Rekka, so it makes sense. So this is just essentially a retail way of getting the phrases and such. But anyways, let's start. Stop yelling. This thing is pretty loud. Really impressive. I really like the blade having, like, the wonder text, like, that's actually molded. That's really cool. And obviously the finishers are, you know, typical. And The next thing, Hypocritical Saber, which obviously you're technically, it's advertised to use with Arthur. I obviously don't have Arthur, so obviously we're gonna have to rely on Kieran, Scare's kid. Yeah, I think it's pretty confirmed that we're never going to see Hypocritical Saber. Man, I did not know framing this thing will be weird. Obviously, next up will be Crimson Saber, which obviously will require our good friend Storm Eagle. And can you please focus? That's what I'm so annoyed about. My phone doesn't focus. Gosh. Because if I focus on one thing, it's not going to focus on this. I really find it interesting. It starts similar to Lion Senki. Or, you know, to all the Blades books and such. Last but not least, as I put these back and essentially trade them in, I really do like the idea of the cross saber actually utilizing the, you know, having actually forcing you to go back to, like, you know, the gimmick. Because that's what I feel like is kind of like, you know, a thing that kind of like hinders like writer gimmicks is just like, because really Geo was the last one that kind of did it, but like, you know, it's really neat that like the cross saber does kind of force you to go back to your previous Wonder Ride books just to see what it does, because, you know, like, this thing doesn't, you know, use its own Wonder Ride book and such. But obviously, it's just not gonna focus. Here comes the best one. sucks I didn't get to focus on the colors because this thing was trying to fall. But I actually do like how this one is just straight up, you know, 3 colors for each thing. I don't think Crimson Saber was like just all red, but and this one's just the same finisher as Crimson Saber. Anyways, let's jump to the last big one, which obviously we will have to use our Legend Rider books. I really do like they did something like that. Like, that's nice. Obviously, the finishers are the exact same. So, you know, like, it's cool that they actually decided to, like, give the Legend Rider books something new. Because, obviously, if we do something like, you know, Happy featuring Saber, and you can't cancel it. So obviously, because these are the same books, it's not going to register them as featuring Saber. So it kind of sucks you can't do Happy featuring Saber. And then if you were to just, you know, utilize these books, and if you're like, well, I'm delirious and mysterious, I want to use, you know, Boxo Usagi Tokame. Yeah, so the Cross Saber literally, so the way this works is that a singular book will initiate the Cross Saber transformation. 2 books will initiate the Hybrid Saber transformation. And then, like, of any kind. And then 3 books that aren't Dragon, Lion, Alagina will just trigger Crimson Saber. Because, like I said before, featuring Saber is the only formed programmed specifically to actually know what books you use. Other than that, it doesn't matter what other books you use. And then obviously with the Legend Rider books, it's just programmed. It's just programmed if you put in one, then it will just do that entire thing. It doesn't even matter how much you do, which it kind of sucks. You know, if I were to just do, you know, the 01 books, for example, because these ones are very interesting. Obviously by themselves, but then the Cross Saber, Crimson Saber, so they're not even acknowledged to do the Legend Rider thing, which I think would have been cool. But alas, so I guess for the weapon mode, you just start doing things. Why did I get Rekka twice? What the heck? Okay. Really Oh, you gotta try to align it. I do like how it stays on the color that you actually selected. That's cool. Obviously, I think the only other reason why they got rid of Chomu is because Norshi represents orange. Obviously, they wanted to do oh, is this the button? I don't know. So obviously the 10 seconds are supposed to represent different colors, because I think Gekido and Psycho represent white, because obviously there's no other colors to represent them. So I think white for them was fine to double on, but not orange. So... Man, that's fun. Like, I know there's technically like hundreds of combinations you can do here, because like you just do it. It resetted itself somehow. Can you do this out of order? Oh, you can. And... oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. It changed the colors. It makes sense. I want to see the color build up. Great. See, I really like how this looks. Even though the majority of the color isn't there, but... like, I feel like this is probably the first weapon within this series that actually is... well, this is probably like the first sword within line that actually can, like, do things. Other than that, like, you know, the most of them are just for transformation purposes. But so now we're in Toma phrase mode. Which, you know, the difference here is that so essentially it's just his phrases in between, like, you know, slashing, like slashing stuff. So this is technically like a pickaxe, but I don't know. This is why I never understood. This is why I don't understand with the cross saber solos. Like, why the heck would you not want to, like, pose your cross saber with just the normal hilt? Why would you want to, like, pose him attacking like this? Or this? This is dumb. I understand it's for the purpose of, like, posing him to do stuff like this. But the issue is that the pictures promote him fighting like this. Like, seeing featuring Saber fight like this is dumb. Again, all those are the exact same. So obviously what's different is what we do with after the transformation, which at this point I'll just do, you know, just show this off. We get the shortened versions of the transformations, and also we get, you know, Toma saying Henshin just in the same way as the Sound Update edition. I don't know if the finishers are different. Nope, they didn't bother changing the finishers. So that's great. There we go with that. Last but not least. Honestly, my favorite of the shortened jingles. Again, you don't get the finisher. Which I think is disappointing. It's like, you literally went this far to, like, have his phrase, like, you literally carried over the, like, did you really not want to, did you guys really not want to bring him in just to record those lines? Like, you guys really just want to recycle audio from this toy? Really? Man, this one set. See, this one was like, went from being the best jingle to the worst shortened jingle. Like, like this one I understand they're trying to get to the point, but man. Yay, no acknowledgement of finishers. Because that's what we wanted. How? So where does this read them from? I do find it kind of annoying that you have to like sit through phrases in between. Like honestly, I'm like, if they still added the ability to have the voice lines or have the dialogue within the sword driver. So I don't understand why they have this other option. Why am I struggling? But so I don't know. I find that weird because I'm like, I don't know. At least have some. I don't know, because the way I see it is just some mini game of like, hey, role play as Toma and like, you know, like hit this thing. Like he's like telling you what to do, and then you're just like, it's like the 2017 version of the Power Sword. I think that's where I'm technically getting it from. And then obviously I had to show off the Legend Rider one, because this is what I would have expected out of just the singular book. Like, that's what I expected of just having one book, but no. Because again, if you did another book, why? Okay, so they don't link up at all. Okay. So yeah, that's essentially the thing. You can't like press. I really wish that did stuff. Like, come on, you couldn't even like have like Toma like attacking beforehand. Like, I understand this is a retail item, but it's like, come on, if you're like if you're using the same resources of the Sound Update Edition, come on, at least do more. like technically, like yes, I guess because I've had the Sound Update Edition for so long, I'm kind of spoiled by what that does. Because, like, I'll at least admit, this one actually is a lot more, like, this one technically does a lot more than the previous Final Form stuff. Because obviously those things have only just phrases. This thing actually has Toma attacking. So that's an upscale. And, like, you know, the way that you transform is literally, like, how the memorial stuff transform. So, like, that's, like, so, yeah, it's just because of the fact that I've been spoiled by the Sound Update Edition for so long that, like, this thing is essentially just, like, a watered-down version of what that does. But, other than that, like, for this, what this thing does within phrase-wise compared to previous Final Form stuff, it's amazing. And such. But, yeah, I guess that'll have to do with the Cross Saber. again, I don't mind the fact that it technically doesn't read a lot of the books and just sets them. Oh wow, it can actually do that, and it just, you know, groups them off. I personally don't mind it, just because it's like, oh, okay, what am I doing? But I don't mind it personally, just because it's like, you know, it does a lot honestly on its own. Like this thing has 5 long jingles to go with it. I'm pretty sure they didn't want to, like, you know, like this thing has 4 forms and 1 commemorating the 50th anniversary of Rider. And then, like, this thing has a lot. You can do a lot with this thing as a weapon. So I think it's justifiable for what this thing does. Now, the thing I forgot to do is, you know, power-up items, because, you know, we don't know if Wonder Almighty is actually going to be used with this thing. It better be, because Superhero Senki isn't, but, you know, brought out emotional, because why not? Okay. Obviously, it does what you expect it to do. It's not like the Kyomu, at least. So that's the good thing, at least. It's not like the Kyomu where it, like, just doesn't even, like, it just pretends like he didn't put in something blank even though he did. So, like, that's the thing I at least like. This thing, there's the possibility of Wonder Ride book actually being specific towards this thing. Because, like, I understand, like, yes, this sword is mostly Toma's. But I honestly believe that this sword can go to Rintaro or Kento. Because, you know, like, it's... Because the way I see how the cross saber works is essentially, you know, it just, I guess to put it blatantly, it just repaints your main suit. It just repaints the suit to whatever book you insert it to. So essentially, it's like they can, like, yes, I know cross saber was expensive, but like, they can just simply, you know, for example, canonly, they can take something like King Lion. If Rintaro was to use the cross saber and use King Lion, that would make King Lion into, like, glittery and galactic and such. Like, that's the way I see it. So technically, if we do get a new book and it's used with the cross saber, technically it can be a new form. It's just that it's going to be glittery and, like, spacey because of the usage of the cross saber. But yeah, one last thing, because they happily didn't forget about it. I don't think that's accurate to the other ones, because I think the other ones actually activated right away. Yeah, it's not accurate, because this one... But man, I like the size of this thing. It's definitely, like, yeah, it's not technically bigger, but I think this is, like, a perfect size, honestly. I think I need to compare it to the Susanoo and the Kogokan. But like, this is a pretty nice size. Now, obviously, yes, in CCG, the China gaming convention, whatnot, they did announce a like, you know, essentially a memorial version of the Sword Driver, like you know, in the scale of like the Rusokens and the Gaisoken. So like they announced, or they teased, a release of the like big upscale versions of the Seikens. Obviously Rekka, Nagare, Ikazuchi. And it's apparent, we don't know much of, like, the way I saw is that it was only it wasn't gonna be like sold there only, because I'm like, I don't think Bandai would only sell an upscale version of the Seiken in a convention. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be our memorial item, because this thing already, because then why else would they do this first? If they, because like, you know, if they were just, because I think everyone would have been underwhelmed if they just released this by the end of the series. It's like, oh yeah, look, it's just the same thing and such. So I think that's probably why they made the Sound Update edition, so then they can technically put out the memorial item, but just not, like, that's the thing. It is a memorial item, just doesn't really follow what exactly memorial items do, because obviously that one went on a different concept. So I think basically because they freed up a slot, I think that's where the Sword Driver set's gonna go and such. I'm still kind of in between of if I actually really want it, because I think it would be stupidly cool to have it. But at the same time, it really just depends, because this is kind of my issue of like, what's the point of making an upscale version of, you know, Rekka, Nagare, and Ikazuchi? Because like, obviously most of their functionality is within the Sword Driver, and you can't put it in there. So like, and the thing too is like, are we just going to be stuck with the same phrases that we were already stuck with beforehand within the Sound Update edition? It's like, is it going to function like the Memorial edition of the Rusoken, where you're just going to already have the transformation sounds by like another trigger or so? Because I just feel like that isn't as fun. But then it's like, well, you're going to actually have the memorial sounds and such. And it's like, oh gosh, darn it. Again, it's at least going to be like $100 deposit. And then it's at least going to be like $200 at best. So yeah, I'm kind of in between if I actually really want that thing, because I honestly just feel like it's a slap in the face for the people that already collected the sound, that already got the Sound Update edition. Because it's like, well, what's the point of us getting this if you're just gonna put out this bigger version of it? Like a higher quality version of what we already did yearly. But yeah, so I'll have to do with this part. Obviously, I have to still get Hojo Senki and whatever remains, or whatever I get with Hojo Senki. So I'll conclude this for now, but let's see if, I don't know, because I feel like Bai will again cancel our order for Hojo Senki. we still need to go through with it, but then like Zarkin's like, well, you can wait until like the second half of the week, or the second half of the month. It's like, we can't do that, we have a bunch of pre-orders. So yeah.